Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here, ready to continue on as the nation of Brazil, as an Axis power, fascist government in World War II. I'm using the BlackIce Mod. This is Hearts of Iron 4. It is April of 1941. The wars, things are going well for me. Things are not going well for my Axis brethren, particularly the Germans, who are on their heels. They're getting turned back on both flanks. The Soviets are turning them back, as well as the Allies. You can see they're just not really much left for them to do. They're kind of thinned out on both sides. Maybe only, I don't know how even far that is, probably 100 or 200 miles wide at this point. So, not a lot left for me to do except figure out how I'm going to hang on for dear life once Germany's taken out of the war. I was doing a little kind of looking into where things stood. Germany's down to about 60 factories, 60 military factories at this point producing. They've got plenty of manpower. They're just not getting the equipment produced fast enough. So I have an idea, and it's a long shot, but I really have nothing else I can do. The United States has got most of its military elsewhere. So I'm going to just see if I can figure out a way to get up through Mexico and maybe invade the United States. It means I've got to get through Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico, either by getting military access or by invasions. And it appears that Nicaragua is not going to give me military access, so we're going to start justifying a war goal against them. It won't take long to do. In the meantime, we're going to look at Honduras. And they are democratic, so they're really not going to give me access. So we're going to start justifying against them, too. Then we've got Guatemala, who's non-aligned. I'm going to start improving relations in the hope that they will allow me through. Same with Mexico. Actually, we'll do that with Mexico, because that's a little bit more involved of a war, and it would be really easy if they would just let me go through. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll start simming through. It's not going to take long for this to happen. I'm still working on my atomic research program. Nothing coming anytime soon. Secret weapons is my current national focus. So we'll see what happens. We'll jump back in as situations warrant. Alright, so the justification against Nicaragua is complete. One little problem, in my haste to start justifying against these other nations, I forgot about Costa Rica, so I went ahead and started a justification against them as well. That'll be complete soon. I do need to go ahead and declare war on Nicaragua, or else that justification will be gone before I can actually make use of it. So we won't be able to invade them until the justification is complete against Costa Rica, which is almost there. Oh, 275 days for Costa Rica? Are you kidding me? So I'm at war with Nicaragua, but I'm not going to be able to do a thing about it. I wonder why it's taking so long against them, but not others. And I wonder if I can kind of like restart that and it'll go faster. Let's see. Okay, now it's only going to take 85 days. That's a little better. Still, it's going to take to August of 41. That's really going to slow me down. But hopefully in the meantime, I'm getting Mexico on my side. There's secret weapons. Let's see. So positive is now at 7, negative is at 20. I need to get that positive over 20. To get over their base reluctance. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to improve their opinion that much, but we're going to find out. Alright, national focus. Let's continue to look at what we want to do here. Technology sharing, can we do that now? Yes. Okay, we'll get another research slot that way. In the meantime, we're 70 days away from our atomic research. Again, not a lot I can do at the moment. I'm going to build some more military factories. Let's take a look real quick at what's happening in Europe. You can see Germany is, I mean, they're on their last legs. They're doing fairly well at the moment against the Soviets, but they're just not, they're not going to hang on. There's just no way it's going to happen. Although, let's see, they're at 40% toward capitulation. The Italians are 9% toward. And, you know, somebody mentioned, I think it was Jim O'Hare, you might have asked, he said, hey, maybe it's time to sue for peace. You shouldn't have kicked the bear because now the bear is attacking you. I don't think I can because I am not the faction leader. And we are not losing the war by nearly enough to be able to do that. So you can see here, you are not the war leader for the losing side, and the war score in favor of the other side must be at least 50%, currently at 0. Technically, the war is a complete draw right now. Well, it's not actually going 9% in my favor. So we'll see what happens. So I think while I'm sitting around waiting on all this stuff to happen, we might look at the option of staging a coup in Mexico if the military access option does not work, and it looks like it's not going. Let's see, here we go. It's still at 7. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this all the way up to 200, which is what we're going to need to do. So I'm going to look at another option, which would be to stage a coup. I don't know if that's going to work or not, and that might hurt things. So just an idea that I've got right now. We'll kind of let things play out. I am going to start staging a coup in Guatemala. I think that'll be a little easier. And we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, just kind of looking in a few days later on how things are going for Germany, because that's where I got to keep an eye on right now. Really, the problem right now is the Allies, because it seems like they've kind of stopped the Soviets cold at the moment, but the Allies continue to press through on the West, and they're right on the doorstep of Berlin. And Germany's only got 1 infantry division in the way of Berlin, and Berlin's about to fall. In fact, we're going to see that happen here right now, I think. And that'll just about do it. The Italians, I don't know what's going on with Italy. They don't seem to really be doing much at the moment. Oh, turning the tide a little bit here against them. What's happening here? Resistance to occupation in the Panama Canal Zone. No big surprise there, really. What's Japan doing? They're still holding on to Oahu. Looks like those are some Chinese divisions that are holding it, but Japan doesn't seem to be doing much else in the Pacific at the moment. They're mostly focusing on war with the Soviets and with Mongolia, I guess. Yeah. So overall, looking at the war, it's going 8% in my favor. Germany's still where they were before, so it's kind of a stalemate at the moment. The main thing here is that they're just losing so many men. My losses at the moment, 58,000 for the war. United States is at 268,000, so they're closing in on what they did historically, which I think we lost about 400,000 dead during the war, which, you know, is a lot for our nation, but I know pales in comparison to what Germany lost, what the Soviet Union lost, what other countries lost during the war, and certainly by percentage of people lost. Places like the United Kingdom and France certainly had high losses as well. All right, we'll jump back in. So interestingly, even while Germany's on its last legs, they have just gotten Denmark to capitulate, which is kind of strange to me. But let's go ahead and take a look. I mean, Germany's just about to be cut in half by the advancing Allies and Comintern forces, but Berlin has not fallen, and they just managed to take Denmark. So I don't know what's going on over there. You can just see here, I mean, they're up to 8 million losses in that war. Now, obviously, that doesn't take into consideration the fact that the Soviets have lost a ton of men in what is a separate war. But things are static as far as the percentage that Germany is toward capitulation. I can't imagine it's anything more than just a matter of time, though. But it does look like they've at least kind of made some advances over here in France. So I don't know what that means long term, if it means anything at all. But they've kind of stopped things at the moment. We'll see what happens. I should be just a couple of days away from being able to advance into the mighty nation of Costa Rica. I've been to Costa Rica. It's a beautiful country there. Just a lot to see. A lot of Americans there. We were there over the 4th of July about 15 years ago. And we got to go to the U.S. Embassy for a 4th of July party there, and just a great thing hosted by the ambassador there. We got to find a place to get steel, because right now I'm having trouble getting it from the Soviets. So I'm going to have to look at an alternative source of steel, and there doesn't appear to be a lot of options right now. Alright, we are coming up on August 6th, 1941. There's our technology sharing, atomic research as well. So let's go ahead and dive in here to what's next. We get a 50% bump on the next time, the next atomic research, but we're not going to go there yet because it's too far in advance. What else can we do? This will help research time. Let's go with improved computing machines. And now we get another technology option. Factory output, maybe that's the way to go. We're already working on our next land doctrine. Is there anything that helps me get folks back into the field faster? Doesn't appear to be. At the moment, anyway. Alright, so we'll go Concentrated Industry 4. And we will prepare for the invasion of Costa Rica. Alright, so there's our justification of Honduras. So we're ready to go to war with Honduras, which doesn't do me a whole lot of good at the moment, but of course I will overrun both of those nations once I can get through Costa Rica. So we're now at war with Nicaragua and Honduras, who have both joined the Allies. No big surprise there. Peru joined the Axis. That was enough to finally pull Peru into the war on our side. They had seen enough. They don't want me to come after them next. El Salvador has joined the Axis. Excellent. So we got a little ally, right? They have 42 infantry divisions. Oh, they're brigades, but still nice. So that's going to help a little bit there. And Costa Rica, you are coming up here in just a day. Still can't get enough steel, and there's just nowhere to get it from right now. But let's go ahead and launch this war. Here we go. We are now at war with most of Central America. And we're going to just run right on through all of them. Costa Rica joined the Allies. Again, no big surprise there. Dominican Republic has joined the Axis. So we've got our first Caribbean power in the Axis now. Everybody's taking sides. And why are we not advancing? There we go. So we got 47 divisions that are going to be marching up into Central America. And this shouldn't take long at all. Costa Rica is going to fall within days. Maybe. They're not going. Okay. There we go. It's just a matter of how fast can we move into their territory. Alright, that should do it for Costa Rica. Maybe. And then we'll go right into Nicaragua and right up into Honduras as well. Costa Rica has capitulated. We got some infantry equipment. That's helpful, I guess. Kind of get reset and then march into the next nation here. Let's check out, while that's going on, see what's happening over here in Europe. Oh, Germany's gotten a little fatter down here. That doesn't mean a whole lot, I guess, but it looks like they've at least stemmed the tide a little bit. So that's nice to see. They're actually a little less toward capitulation now. I think in the end it's really going to end up being a question of who has men left. The Soviets, of course, they're never going to run out of manpower. I'm not quite so sure the UK can hold out long term if this goes on for very long. United States, they're going to have plenty of manpower. Alright, where are we? We're on to, let's see, do we want fire brigades, or maybe the way to go at this point is defense, just because we don't need more recruitable population because we've got plenty of that already. We still have 3 million. Construction 3 is going to be done here soon. Also, I didn't show this, but I've gone fighter focus for my next national focus. I don't have a lot of great options at this point. Okay, Nicaragua's just about taken out. We just got to take their capital, which it doesn't even look like we're trying to do because we're advancing all the way up into Honduras now. So let's deal with Managua. Where things stand with this Guatemalan coup that we're working on here. It's not going to happen until June 42. Well, that's not going to work. We're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to declare war on Guatemala, which is only going to take 25 days. Feel kind of bad about invading Guatemala. I have a niece who was born there, adopted by my sister-in-law and her husband a few years back, and she's just a wonderful kid. But, hey, got to do what we got to do. Nicaragua has capitulated. Some more infantry equipment. Let's move now into Honduras. As soon as we take Tegucigalpa, I think that'll probably fall as well. And then by that point, we should be ready to invade Guatemala. I don't think Mexico is ever going to get to the place where they're happy enough with us that they're going to allow me military access. But we'll see what happens once we take these other nations and we're on their doorstep. What do we got here? Let's go ahead and improve our artillery a little bit. Still got some pretty old school artillery going on. Still a problem with steel, but there's nothing I can do about that, like I said. Honduras should fall. Hopefully once Tegucigalpa falls, Honduras falls. It's estimating that's going to take a couple of weeks yet. I want to look real quick at the situation in Europe. Still pretty static, but you like to see green. It looks like they're trying to retake some territory. I wonder if any of these allied nations are running out of manpower, and that's what happened. That Germany just barely hung on for dear life because they just have more people. Germany's the most populous nation that's completely in Europe. Obviously, the Soviet Union's partially in Europe. But of all the countries that are in Europe, Germany's the most populous, so they've got a lot of manpower. I don't know what Italy's doing. They just don't seem to be doing much at all. Yeah, maybe they just have their troops up in Vichy, France is the issue, and it just doesn't look like they're doing much. But there's 3 fronts here in Europe. You've got down here in the southeast, in Greece, Yugoslavia, that area. You've got the Eastern Front against the Soviets, and then, of course, you've got the Western Front against the Allies. Alright, where do things stand? Come on, let's take Tegucigalpa down. Still saying 10 more days, so we'll come back when we finish them off. So, in all the time I've spent looking at what was going on up here in Germany, I didn't notice that the UK had actually launched an invasion of Spain, and they've taken probably a third or maybe a fourth of the country here in the southeast, though it seems like maybe Spain's kind of holding on now. Still at 98%, desperately trying to finish off Nicaragua, who's giving me a rough time here, or Honduras, I should say. I've got 43 divisions against 2. For some reason, I just can't seem to finish them off, but it looks like maybe we're going to push in from this side over here. Maybe that'll be the way that it gets done. There we go. We're almost there. And I'm hoping that with the fall of their capital, that'll be the end of their nation. Justification of Guatemala should be almost finished. Yep, 3 days. Should be just in time for me to finish off Honduras. Alright, there we go. Honduras has capitulated. Didn't grab much there. We're going to get right to the doorstep of Guatemala in time to invade them. I guess we're going to have to start justifying against Mexico. It's going to take 110 days. I had hoped that maybe we would scare them into things. They're a non-aligned country. Alright, justification against Guatemala. complete. Guatemala joined the Allies. The usual thing happens. All the dominoes fall. Of course, El Salvador is an Axis power, so that's an extra place that I can invade from. Hopefully I can go right into I think it's Guatemala City, right? Yeah. I haven't been producing any new units because I've put all of my priority into reinforcing my existing units in the field and trying to keep their strength up. Alright, we got to pause because we've got a lot going on here at the moment. We've got some free military factories as well as some free naval dockyards. We're just going to keep producing convoys because I'm losing some, obviously, to attrition from the Allies. Now let's look at free military factories, where we can go with that. Looks like we're good. We're finally caught up on the number of light tanks we need, so we can reduce that. Produce some more motorized. We still need a lot of medium tanks. We need some support equipment. Infantry equipment we can upgrade. Is that what you're telling me? No, maybe not. Oh, it's needed for upgrades. Okay. So we'll produce some more of that. That'll keep me going for now. Obviously, steel continues to be an issue. We could try to get some more from the Soviets. Looks like that's happening okay at the moment. Alright. Let's go ahead and finish off Guatemala. And what's happening in Europe? Go Germany. Hey, they're pushing the Soviets back. I love it. Looks like the main front at this point for the Allies is in France. Man. Somehow they came back from the brink. And maybe now if I can start putting some pressure on the United States, that'll help. Germany's now only at 27% toward capitulation. Spain's about to fall, though. That's a problem. Looks like their capital fell, Madrid. Wow. That was a little unexpected. Berlin just fell. It looked like they were pushing back, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the Allies pushed up and took Berlin. I mean, they were right on the doorstep of Berlin for quite a while. I'm a little surprised that this has happened. I thought things were going better, but I guess I was wrong. Maybe they'll push back. I don't know, but let's see what that does to the war effort. That obviously pushes things down to basically a stalemate again. Germany's back to 48% toward capitulation. I don't know if they're going to recover from this, but I'm hoping somehow they can get Berlin back. In the meantime, for me, I have decided to take my southern force and just combine it with the north, because at this point I'm not too concerned about what happens down here. I think I've got allies that can take care of things if one of those countries decides to join the Allies. So we're just trying to push into Guatemala now. And it looks like it's not going to let me go through El Salvador for some reason. So I guess we're going to have to come through this way. Okay, so we're into November of 1941. Just got up to improved artillery 2. We're going to keep going with the artillery thread here. That means we can start producing the next level of artillery. And in the meantime, Germany has retaken Berlin. In fact, they're now at only 26% toward capitulation. The war's still a stalemate here. The UK has now lost 663,000. I have to feel like they're probably getting low on manpower at this point, and that may lead to why Germany's being able to hang on for dear life despite those losses. Let's look at the other war here. The Soviet-German war, still complete stalemate. Soviet Union's lost almost 7 million. I don't know. I know they got a lot of manpower, but I don't know. They've only got 2 million in the field at this point combined for all of the Comintern, and that includes the Romanian People's Republic, which has just joined Comintern. So fielded manpower, of course, they're kind of overwhelmed, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, still trying to take Guatemala. Still can't figure out why these troops will not go through the border here from San Salvador since they're an ally. But nonetheless, we'll take Guatemala, and then we're working on the justification of Mexico, which is going to happen right around January 2nd. It's going to be interesting to invade Mexico in January, but I don't think the weather gets too bad down there, so we'll see what happens. Guatemala has capitulated. Peru has joined the war. For some reason, I don't know why this is, I can no longer see the troops here. So I don't know what's going on, except for the fact that obviously the Soviets and the Germans are fighting just outside of Berlin. Things have kind of become a stalemate on the Western Front. Looks like Germany might be able to retake Frankfurt. So maybe we need further encryption. I don't know if those are allies, so I think I'd be able to see them. We're getting ready to do aviation effort 2. Like I said, Guatemala has fallen. We're going to go ahead and start getting our troops on the border with Mexico and prepare for that war. Oh, we'll be able to take, this is Belize here, which was part of the United Kingdom at the time. But we'll probably take this episode right up to, I'll have to see what the time looks like. I'm not really sure right now, but maybe we'll start the invasion of Mexico. Maybe we'll save that for the next episode, but we'll at least get into 1942 here in a minute. Alright, so we're going to get a real quick research here. We got a lot of research coming up on completion fairly soon. I'm also now focusing on rocket effort, which will be done here in 2 months, and that'll allow me to start building my rocket program. We are now on the border with Mexico, and in about 2 weeks, that justification will be complete, and we'll be able to launch the invasion. According to my intel, it looks like Mexico doesn't have much of an army, so that shouldn't go too badly. Back to Europe. Still can't see what's going on. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I don't know what happened there that suddenly I can't see their armies anymore. Maybe somebody who is more familiar with the game mechanics can clue me in on what I'm missing, why that's happening. But as you can see, Germany has kind of stemmed the tide. In fact, they're pushing back against the Soviets now. I wish I could see what they were up against, but it looks like they're pushing back fairly quickly and stabilizing that front. Same thing with the Allies. The Allies hold most of France now, it looks like, but nothing much as far as movement goes on either side there. Germany's mostly focusing on retaking the territory they lost from the Soviets. And Japan's doing a number on the Soviets in the east. So maybe the Soviets are just getting exhausted from the war. I don't know. Looking at the numbers, it's a complete stalemate, which is fine with me. I'll take stalemate in Europe. That allows me to focus on this daring task of moving up towards an invasion of the United States, which I think might end badly for me, but at least it should be entertaining for all of us to watch, and it'll certainly shake things up and give us something that we've never seen before, at least I've never seen before, though I know people probably do that in the game. We'll get Concentrated Industry 4 here in just a minute, and we're going to take this episode right up to the invasion of Mexico, and that's where I'll stop. Because I think that's a good stopping point for this particular episode. We'll come back in another couple of days with the next one. So once we are into the new year and that justification happens, we'll put things on hold. Let me take a look real quick here. I'm thinking maybe I need to focus on some support companies here. Let's get some field hospitals going. I probably should have done that sooner so I could get my troops back into the field a lot quicker. But we'll go ahead and take this here. Yep, January 2nd will be the date that we'll stop at just before the declaration of war on Mexico. There it is. So we're ready to go. I don't think there's anything I can do that's going to dissuade Mexico from forcing me to declare war on them. So we'll stop right there. I'd love to hear your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your observations, any and all of those things, just kind of looking at a glance here at where things stand. You can kind of see, okay, war has reopened all along the front here. Spain's hanging on by a thread. They're about to fall. Germany has pushed back a little bit against the Soviets, but things are not going any better against the Allies. That's where things stand. If you'd hit that thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. We're closing in. I'm hoping today is the day I go over 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that. I greatly appreciate that as well. We'll see you again soon.